it always feels like we go two steps forward and one step back when we make these decisions. All right, here we
The Bills have told Jordan Poyer, their all-pro safety, that they're moving on. Now, keep in mind that Buffalo came in today and needing to clear about $40 million worth of salary cap space. And so they are essentially moving on from Jordan Poyer. And this is really the end of a chapter here in Buffalo because he and Micah Hyde had formed a long-running, successful safety tandem. Hyde is a free agent, may retire. Doesn't look like he'll be back in Buffalo. We know Jordan Poyer now will be moving on. They're restructuring the contract of Rasul Douglas as well. So there's some cap savings with more to come yet in Buffalo that they'll have to do to get under the salary cap. But obviously some big moves in Buffalo with them moving on from Jordan Poyer today.
So, yeah, also for those who didn't know, they've also restructured Bob Miller's contract. So that's been done. And they also basically stated that Bob Miller would now have incentives for his contract, which I've been talking about that with you guys for a while now, making sure that there was incentive-based contracts moving forward with some of these players so that they don't get hit or left basically in a dead space or lead into like a dead end with a certain player, especially with veterans. I think it's it's very risky. Not to say that it's less risky with a rookie, but you do have more time with the younger player. You do have more time with the rookie. So when you're giving millions of dollars to these veterans who have a shelf life or a short lifespan in the league, that's probably the most risky thing that you can do. Which the example would be Von Miller. So they did restructure his contract. I'll have more of that for you guys later. We'll mine that out. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this story. Since changes coming to Buffalo, the Bills made a series of moves Wednesday to help the team get under the salary cap, including releasing key longtime starters that have been with the team since Sean McDermott became head coach in 2017. After coming into the day more than $40 million over the cap, among the players being released are cornerback Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Mitch Morse, Deontay Hardy, and Saron Neal. We also released Nyheim Hines. For those who didn't know, we also released Nyheim Hines. Now, this actually had just came in my ear. The story just released in my ear about 5 minutes ago, which was Mitch Trubisky. There was talks about him. I just don't. I look. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous now. Mitch Trubisky gets released by the Steelers, and then we already had Mitch Trubisky, and now he's back as the backup quarterback for Allen. People don't understand why I get so aggravated or why I get so mad. Before we continue on, I just have to address this. It always feels like we go two steps forward and one step back when we make these decisions. And I feel like the biggest thing is understanding how much of a slap in the face it is to go back to a quarterback like Mitch Trubisky. He didn't do shit for the Steelers. What is he going to do for the Bills now? If, God forbid, something happens to Josh Allen, what are we doing? Is this the best? Listen, I get the salary cap. I get you have to figure out who you can bring to the table with the money that you have. But is Mitch Trubisky the best that you can do, Bean? That's a legitimate question. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. Fred Lucky, what up, yo? What's going on with you? Ernie says they need to cut Miller if they can and bring in some young blood to that D. So they did not cut Miller, but they did restructure his contract. They did restructure his contract. What's your thoughts on Taylor Rapp contract? I like Taylor Rapp. I do think that he can be effective. Maybe we paid a little bit too much for him because when I seen the $14.5 million over 3 years, I sat there and I was like, I don't think that made sense. Like it didn't feel right to me, right? And I'm not saying he hasn't been productive because he has, but I just don't think he's worth that amount of money right now, considering what the hell is going on. So it's tricky. Like I said, he's great on the field. He's positive. He's got a good attitude. I think he can be an asset for the team. But I don't know if he was worth $14 million. Darv says some guys are better or worse under certain systems. Shout out to you, Coach. What up, man? Says, don't you think you need to sweat the Truly signing? Um, Trubisky. Well, hey, listen, I've never been a fan of Trubisky, even from the damn Bears days. So and when he came here before, I was like, So yeah, do we need to worry about Trubisky? Probably not. But like I said, God forbid Allen goes down or he bumps his elbow for a game or two and he needs to come out. Do we really trust Trubisky to lead this team to victories? That's what I'm saying. Not that you can probably trust almost any backup because there are a reason why they're backups, but specifically, I just don't trust Mitch Trubisky to lead as a backup to a victory. I'm just saying. Now, moving forward, we'll get back to this story now. I kind of just veered off for a second there. There's a lot going on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot going on, and we're going to get back to mining this out here. All right, here we go. So it says outside of White, the Bills' recent moves including releasing running back Naheem Hines, which will save $25.96 million. White will be designated as a post-June 1 release, which will save the team $10.2 million in cap space with $6.2 million in dead money. The 2019 All-Pro cornerback continues to rehab a torn right Achilles, but can sign with the team when free agency opens next week. The move marks the end of an era in Buffalo with two captains, Poyer and Morse, leaving the team in addition to White, which was the first draft pick selected after McDermott became coach. Now, listen, we all know as far as the Achilles situation and the problem that that presents. We know that most people, when they come back from an Achilles injury, they're not playing the same. So I do understand the Tre'Davious White situation and how that would make sense to obviously release him. But the real question is this, because we know he's very talented, right? We know Tre'Davious White is very talented, loved by the Bills community, without a doubt. Let's say he does heal and he comes back and he's great, right? I think this decision was based more so on the injury opposed to his skills because we know that he's great. So if I'm being, because business is business, right? I'm thinking, all right, yeah, we probably need to move on from Tre'Davious because he had the Achilles injury and he's not going to come back and play that, play as effective as he once did. But, and this is a huge but, if Tre'Davious does come back from the injury and goes somewhere else and plays amazing, it's going to be another slap in the damn face. But we'll keep going. We'll keep it going. Continues on to say whether White 29 would be a cap casualty was one of the big questions of the Bills offseason due to the need to create cap space. White has dealt with unfortunate circumstances, tearing his left ACL on Thanksgiving 2021, returning for 6 regular season games and 2 playoff games in 22, and then tearing his Achilles 4 games into 2023. Before the injuries, 2017 first-round pick and 2-time Pro Bowl selection missed only 3 games in NFL career and had never gone through a major surgery. He has 18 interceptions, 68 passes defended, 311 tackles, and 5 forced fumbles in his career. He tied the NFL lead with 6 interceptions in 2019 and was selected as first-team All-Pro. So, yes, Tre'Davious White will definitely be missed, and that is a fact. That is a fact. Next up is going to be Poyer. Obviously, Poyer's been a fan favorite. He's been nothing short of amazing. He's definitely went out there and balled himself as well. Great speed, great defending, good for a pick or two in a game. Get into this. It was tough. It was tough. I've met with Poyer a couple of times and, had a chance to just speak with him and he's a great guy. He's humble. So like I said, Bills have a sense of community. And when you have these relationships with the players and things like that, it is tough to see some of these guys move on. So Poyer, 32, resigned with the Bills last offseason on a 2-year deal after exploring his free agency options. He initially signed with Buffalo in 2017 and paired with safety Micah Hyde, who was another one dealing with injury issues that had been amazing, who also signed with the team in 2017 in the secondary for the past 7 seasons. The move with Poyer marks the end of the safety duo that has started the most games together since 2017-92, per the Elias Sports Bureau, with Hyde, who was set to become a free agent next week, considering retirement, and sets up a new look on defense for Buffalo in 2024. So, listen, there's so much going on here, right? You've got Poyer gone, you've got Hyde potentially leaving, Mitch Morse, which, as much as I think Tre'Davious White is important and Poyer is important, the reality is Mitch Morse is probably the most significant, above all, in this whole situation. And I'm not sure how this offensive line is going to fare without Mitch Morse being the center, because he's kind of been the glue to that offensive line. He's been able to protect Josh Allen. He's been able to make sure that Josh Allen has had that time in the pocket and avoided the sacks. There's a lot. There is a lot that is going to go into the way that the Bills deal with this as far as moving forward, and whether or not Bean and McDermott's going to be to figure this out. That's what's going to be in question. And if they can't, right? Because it's all fine and well to say like, oh, well, they must have a trick up their sleeve, or, oh, well, they're going to figure it out. If they don't figure it out after this year, I could definitely see McDermott and being on the chopping block, because, to be honest, Mitch Morse, Tre'Davious White, Poyer, those are significant releases. And it's not, just like bottom of the barrel people that you just let go. So unless you have something truly in the bag that you can reach into that's going to make sense, to me, giving Rapp $14.5 million is not something in the bag for me that makes sense. But hey, fine. What else do you have? I think we're in uncharted territories right now, uncharted territory for the Bills right now. I think, to be honest, this is probably going to be something that is really, really, really going to have to be dialed into as the upcoming months. And it's going to be a rough offseason for the Bills fans, without a doubt, because of the uncertainty.